Alex traveled often for his work. He knew many hotels, big and small. This new one felt different, though. It was an old building, very grand. But a strange chill hung in the air. Summer was hot outside the hotel walls. Inside it felt like deep autumn. A sense of unease started to bloom. He tried to ignore the cold feeling. It was probably just his imagination. The hotel lobby was vast and dim. Dust motes danced in the faint light. The man behind the reception desk smiled, but his eyes were cold like chips of ice. He handed Alex a heavy, ornate key. "Room 313, the clerk said, his voice flat. The number echoed strangely in Alex's mind. A tiny alarm bell began to ring softly. He took the key. It felt cold to his touch. A shiver traced a path down his spine. Alex usually found charm in old hotels. They had history, character, stories to tell. This one, however, felt different somehow. Its story felt like a dark, hidden secret. He had the distinct feeling of being watched. The silence in the lobby was too profound. It was not the quiet of peace, but of waiting. He briefly thought about finding another place, but the long journey had made him very tired. He just wanted to rest his weary head. The elevator was an old, creaking cage. It groaned as it began its slow ascent. Up, up, up. Each floor passed like an eternity. Alex felt a prickling sensation on his skin, like tiny invisible needles touching him. The brass key in his hand grew colder still. He clutched it tightly, his knuckles white. He wished he had stayed in a modern hotel. This old place was starting to scare him. A deep foreboding settled in his heart. The elevator doors opened onto the third floor. A long, dark hallway stretched before him. Only a few weak bulbs lit the passage. They flickered, casting dancing, distorted shadows. The shadows looked like grasping skeletal hands. The air here was stale, heavy with dust. It smelled of decay and something else. Something old, forgotten, and deeply sorrowful. Alex hesitated for a moment. He did not want to walk down that hall. The carpet underfoot was thick and worn. Its color was a deep, unsettling red, like old dried blood from long ago. It muffled his footsteps completely. The silence was absolute, frightening. His heart began to pound in his chest. Thump, 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 a frantic rhythm. It felt like he was walking into a trap. Each step took him deeper into the gloom. He felt a primal urge to turn and flee. He searched for the number of his room. Room 313. Where could it possibly be? The numbers on the doors were old and faded. Some were tarnished, others entirely missing. He passed room 311, its door slightly ajar. Then he saw room 315, dark and silent. But there was no room 313 in between. He frowned, confused, and retraced his steps. Had the clerk made some kind of mistake? The hallway seemed to twist around him. Then, finally, he saw it, almost hidden, tucked away in a shadowy, deep alcove. Room 313. The door was a dark, matte black. It seemed to absorb all the light around it. No friendly light seeped from beneath the door. A cold draft emanated from the small gap. Alex felt a wave of intense reluctance. His hand trembled as he raised the cold key. He pushed it slowly into the lock. The tumblers clicked with a grim finality. The room inside was colder than the hallway, a bone-chilling cold that seeped into him. Alex reached out, fumbling for a light switch. His hand swept across the smooth, cold wall. There was no switch to be found anywhere, only a single small lamp on a dusty table. Its shade was torn, its bulb weak. It flickered erratically. On, off, on, off. The weak light cast long, eerie shadows. The room seemed to pulse with the light. A very soft sound reached Alex's ears. He strained to hear it. A whisper. So faint he almost thought he imagined it. He could not make out any distinct words. Did it come from the ancient walls? Or was it perhaps from inside his own head? The whispers seemed to slither around him. He felt the chilling sensation of being watched. He knew with certainty he was not alone. Someone or something was there with him. He told himself it was just his tiredness. The long drive had exhausted his mind, but the oppressive feeling of dread only grew. This room felt terribly, fundamentally wrong. The air was thick, heavy, and hard to breathe. It pressed down on him, suffocating him. His gaze fell upon a tarnished mirror. an old spotted mirror hanging on the wall. It reflected the flickering, dim lamplight. And something more. He walked towards the mirror very slowly. His legs felt heavy, like they were made of lead. He peered at his own reflection in the glass. His face was pale, his eyes wide with fear. But then he saw it, behind his shoulder, reflected in the depths of the ancient mirror. A tall, dark shape stood silently there. It had no discernible features, no face, just a void of deeper darkness. Alex's blood turned to ice in his veins. Alex tried to scream, to cry out, but no sound escaped his constricted throat. He spun around with a gasp. Fast. The small, dim room was empty, utterly empty. There was nothing behind him, no one. He stared back at the old spotted mirror. Only his own terrified face stared back now. Was his mind playing cruel tricks on him, or was this room truly terribly haunted? He could not trust his own senses anymore. He knew he had to get out. Immediately, he lunged for the door, his heart pounding. He grabbed the cold brass doorknob. He twisted it hard, desperate to escape. Locked. It was securely locked. But how? He was certain he had not locked it. He frantically searched his pockets for the key. It was gone, vanished into thin air. The insidious whispers started up again, louder now, and filled with a cold amusement. He hammered on the solid wooden door. "Let me out!" he shouted, his voice hoarse. "Help me! Please, somebody help me!" His desperate cries seemed to be swallowed. Absorbed by the oppressive silence of the room, no one came. No one answered his pleas. The single lamp on the table gave one last sad flicker. Then it died, plunging the room into blackness. A complete, terrifying, and absolute darkness. He was trapped, alone with the whispers. Hours seemed to pass in that cold darkness. Then, a thin sliver of gray light appeared. Hope. Underneath the bottom of the door. Morning. The door creaked open slowly on its own. Alex scrambled out, weak and shaking. He did not look back. He ran, down the silent stairs, into the lobby. He saw a new clerk, a young woman. "Room 313, he gasped, breathless. "The room, it's..." She frowned, a puzzled look on her face. "Sir," she said, her voice gentle, "this hotel has no room 313. Alex stared, a cold dread washing over him. The key was gone. The terror remained.